Hello everyone and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. My name is David Oualaalou. So good to be with you as always. Once again, Hungary will not support the EU aid plan to Ukraine coming next year. Is this a sign that Hungary is probably gonna get out of the EU altogether? In this video, I'm going to share with you my assessment about how the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, is not only showing leadership, but also taking a stand in defense of his country's welfare. But before I'll delve deeper into this, like always, I like to thank the channel's members and supporters. And for you, if this is your first time landing here, please make sure to subscribe and smash that notification button so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. And thank you all for your continued support. Let's dive into this. The Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, said, and I quote, let me get you guys the quote here, Hungary will not support a European Union plan to provide Ukraine with billions in budget assistance next year. End of quote. Well, basically, the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, that is, by blocking the aid, he is putting on notice that his country comes first. I mean, I will applaud somebody like that in Europe that's now taking stand, because as you all know, guys, all European leaders are so weak. At least somebody in Europe like Orban is showing strength, leadership, that is. So speaking at a conference in Budapest, which took place 3 days ago, on Friday actually, Orban said that while Hungary condemn Russia's operation in Ukraine and support Ukrainian people, Orban in this case, he is not willing to put Ukraine's interest first before those of his own country, meaning Orban's country. And rightly so, that's what you expect from a leader. Unlike the weak one in Germany, in France, in the UK, in Italy, in Spain, or even here in the US, Australia, Canada, you name it. You guys get the idea. You admire somebody like that who takes stands when it matters. Because this is when the leadership is tested. Here it is. He had to support the budget. Well, he said, no, I don't have to support it if it is not benefiting my people. So the aid plan, why he's threatened to veto this, the aid plan will provide, get this guys, 18 billion euros, the equivalency of $18.6 billion to Ukraine next year in regular payments to help keep its energy, meaning Ukraine, its energy and healthcare facilities running, as well as to fund salaries and pension schemes. I mean, who on earth will do something like this at the expense of your people? Germany obviously is doing it, because German people paying the price. France is doing it because French people are paying the price, let alone now the social chaos that's descending upon France. UK's economy is going down. Italy, Spain, Portugal, you name it. You got the idea. Hungary, on the other hand, saying, no, we're not going to get on with this plan just because we are a member of the EU. We have to do what the EU is saying, And as a matter of fact, the EU cannot move forward without the collective approval of all members. And this is why I'm starting to see the signs. Is Hungary about to embark on leaving the EU altogether? So Budapest's refusal to endorse this sort of aid threatens to derail the plan completely, since changes to the EU budget require the full unanimous approval of all member countries. That's the way I see it. And of course, Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, is widely seen as Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest EU ally. They have a good relationship. Orban in this case, is now willing to sacrifice that friendship first and he's not willing to put the welfare of his people second. So, because Orban has vocally opposed the sanctions against Russia. And it's not because Vladimir Putin is his friend. No. It's because the sanctions will backfire. He knew it. He knew, because Hungary depends also on energy from Russia that is cheaper. So now Orban has to change the budgets and so forth to meet the needs because of the sanctions. That is the reason why he was opposing the sanctions. It's not because Putin is his friend. No. Because economically it doesn't make sense. Now we're seeing the price of that. We're seeing the consequences, rather, that other European countries are paying for that. What he's suggesting, and he's suggesting something else instead. What he's saying, an alternative to the EU aid package or aid plans, Orban recommended that the EU's 27 members determine how much money they are willing to provide to Ukraine. Okay, collectively. Then they will distribute the sum in proportional and fair way. And I put this in quote because that's his word. Proportional and fair way. Which means what, basically? According to each country's economic conditions. Would you expect, a country like Greece to contribute billions? Greece doesn't have that much. Italy doesn't have that much. And this is without jointly taking out loans to make the payment to Ukraine, which, by the way, Ukraine will be in no position to repay the loans, because those loans is going to be for over 10 years plus. So who's going to end up footing the bill is the average EU citizen. And this is why Prime Minister Viktor Orban is not willing to put that burden on the Hungarian citizens, and rightly so. I admire his leadership, because this when it matters. Some leaders are so weak. They like the photo ops taken on the G7 or on the summits, whatever. But when they are put to test, they couldn't. This is an example. Other European countries couldn't take stand. Germany at the forefront is so weak. And what he's saying, Mr. Orban is saying that Hungary will be willing to provide Ukraine with about 60 to 70 billion forints. Forints is the currency of Hungary, which is the equivalency of about 152 to 178 billion dollars, US dollars, that is, from its own budget on bilateral terms, which means Hungary will not be tied to the whole European Union, that is. And he is thinking about the national interest, and rightly so. That's what you will expect from a leader. So the Hungarian government threatens to veto the aid, and I hope they do it, because somebody needs to take a stand. Look at our own Biden administration already talking about sending $500 million, and Americans are oblivious to, of course, what's going on. Why should I send my tax dollars to a corrupted country? I don't mind helping, but help has a limit. There is a limit. You can't just do it forever. So Hungarian government is taking stand in Europe. And that's why they're threatening to veto the aid package to Ukraine. And it comes, of course, after it scolded the EU wide adoption of a global corporate tax deal in June. Yeah, that's what the EU did. Hungary is not happy about this one. Orban argues that such measures are destroying Europe's economy and drawing the EU closer to entering into a war itself with Russia. That's his argument. He is closer to the ground. So it's just common sense. This is when you say to yourself, where are the other leaders of Europe? Why can't they talk pragmatically like this? And here's the thing. Some in Europe, or the EU, the European Union, see the move by the Hungarian as a sign that Budapest, or Hungary, the capital of Hungary, by the way, is exerting a leverage in an attempt to force the EU bloc to release billions in economic recovery funds. And rightly so. You guys know why? Because the EU wants to shove down the Hungarian people's throat the idea of immigration for them to accept whomever. Hungary doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to open its border like what we do in the south here in the United States to whomever. It's their country. They can decide who they want in and who they don't. Who are we to dictate to them? And this is why I don't see the logic of the EU is making this argument. So what the EU end up doing is blocking certain economic recovery funds in billions. And some of them are saying, well, this is why Budapest now is threatening to veto because they want that money back. Well, yeah, it's theirs. Because you, the European Union collectively, are imposing the immigration policy on the Hungarian government. Once again, it's their country. They can decide whatever they want. And that's the reason why that money was held up over the concerns that Orban has curtailed democratic norms. Here we go again. Anytime the collective West won't justify something, they throw the words democracies, human rights, international order. You got the idea. So, or as they said here, but this is what the European Union is saying is, oh, they are the Hungarian government, curtailing democratic norms and violating rule of law standards. We all heard this before, and we all know it's nothing but a bravado and hot air. No more, no less. It's basically a lie. That's what it is. And here is what makes this very interesting to show you, because I'm going to give you a comparison to another European leader, and to show you the weakness of the other European leaders. Last week, the EU financial aid, other European leaders were asked about the EU financial aid to Ukraine. And here is what the German foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, well, we all know, first of all, she's not qualified for the job. Second, she's clueless about foreign affairs. And third, it's just another weak leader following in the footsteps of her boss, the Chancellor Olaf Scholz. So here is what she said, and I put it in quotes. The stakes were for delivering the assistance to Ukraine as winter approaches. And here is the quote, what she said. Our financial and humanitarian support and our support for civilian infrastructure in the framework of winter aid is not a normal European matter in which one gambles and negotiates back and forth about money. End of quote. She added, and I'll quote for you here, this European financial support is saving lives every day. And I think and believe that everyone is aware and should be aware of that in these difficult times. End of quote. See how they using some keywords? Why those keywords? Just to let you know, is to draw you emotionally so you can feel bad about if you don't give money to Ukraine, that you are contributing to the suffering of Ukrainian people. But who caused the problem to begin with? You know, Orban is not willing to do this because the welfare of his people first. And rightly so. So a weak leader like the foreign minister of Germany will be saying this kind of statements, which to me are nothing but a hot air, no more, no less. So the EU executive branch, which is the European Commission, this is why you're seeing Ursula von der Leyen, spewing lies and all. They're all in it. They're all in it. As a matter of fact, she was the one taking bribe from Pfizer, by the way, which that investigation was swept under the rugs. Yep. If you want me to do a video on it on a live stream, I'll be happy to. I have some information about that one. So this is what the European Commission is saying, is that the aid to Ukraine will involve loans with extremely favorable terms worth around 1.5 billion euros every month. Okay, just ask yourself this question. Where that money is going to be coming from? Taxpayers. Why should the taxpayers be footing the bill for that? You know, is the comedian President Zelensky that led his country into that to begin with? So why should we bail him out? You know, I would not. When I was in Poland, guys, when I was walking around and talking to some people, I had some Ukrainians came to me, young, 18, 19, waving the flag and said, "Hey, sir, can you help Ukraine?" And I said, "Help Ukraine in what?" He said, "Well, you donate money to Ukrainian because we're fighting Russia." And I said, "Do you know who caused the problem? Do you know what the problem is all about?" And he was just staring at me like I'm speaking some foreign language. And I said, "You don't understand the problem, do you? So for me to give you money, that means I will support what your president is doing, which is wrong to begin with." And he kind of was confused because reality hits him hard. And I said, "My apologies. I will not give you money. Thank you." So, and here is the thing. You know why the European Commission is pushing for this? Because Ukraine will not have to reimburse the funds for at least a decade. And EU member countries will cover the interest cost. This is what Orban is talking about. But the German foreign minister is spewing lies about human lives and democracy and all that nonsense. Because it's nonsense. So, and again, where that money is going to come from? And that is the question we all ought to ask. And this is why the Prime Minister of Hungary is sort of putting on the table is the argument, the logic argument. Why should we, the collective EU, just take money out of our taxpayers, people, and turn around and hand it to Ukraine? You know. So I admire him for taking stand because once again, leadership matters when it's tested. And this is an example of it. So, and by the way, guys, if you like me to extend further on this, I will be happy to do it in a live stream. Just leave me comments and or some questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you in a live stream. Well, I hope you find this very informative. And by the way, if you like the content of this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. I will really appreciate it. As always, remember, geopolitics impacts your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.